welcome to our September detour of Hanover Towers. This is such a huge, great group. I appreciate you all being out here. My name is Jackson Osborne, and I am the Community Outreach Manager for the Bluegrass Trust. This is your first detour. Raise your hand for me. All right, well, if you don't know much about detours, they are free and open to the public on the first Wednesday of every month. They're provided by us at the Bluegrass Trust. We don't receive any state, federal, or local funding, so this is all donation based. So if you donate to the Bluegrass Trust, thank you for making this possible. And of course, our Bluegrass Trust detour volunteers who are in the crowd and have their badges with their names on it. They make all this possible too, so you can give them a round of applause. We know that we've been on the route for a while, so I'm going to be pretty quick. Just want to keep you updated on some other Bluegrass Trust events that are coming up that we would love to have you join, that are also free, but they do have some registration. Our Hope Month Lecture Series is going to be coming up. That's going to be September 26th. It's going to feature Frankie Danion. You might not have heard of his name specifically, but this book is huge for an anarchist guide to house museums. This book is going to be called Running with Scissors. So it sounds like it's going to be a very electric evening. Following that day, we are going to have our Hope Month workshop. That's going to be on September 27th. We'll send out a link for that as well. Following a day of service at Town Community Park in Brazil. So if you are not on our mailing list, please sign up for that. If you are, just be on the lookout for that. Very possible. We look forward to seeing you then. I'm going to turn this over to Eric now, who is our friend from Ashland, the Henry Clay Estate. He's going to tell us about the history of what was here at Hanover Towers, what was Hanover Towers. And then before we get going, I'm going to break you all up into groups and we'll hit different tours into this. So, yeah, go ahead, man.
Thanks, Jackson. I appreciate it. Glad to have the opportunity to be here. My name is Eric Brooks. I am the chief curator at Ashland Clay Estate. And Steve Jackson said that they were coming from. I said, Jackson, you're going to be on the estate. Here we are. We are at what would be northwest corner of the property. Over there. We're at the end of the estate. In his time, this would have all been farm fields. There might have been horses or jacks or cattle running in this area. There might also have been hemp growing here. I'm not entirely sure exactly what was where, but that's the kind of thing that was happening here. And he could stand on the second floor of Ashland and easily see well past this on down into town, and likewise if you were standing here you could see the house. So obviously there's a lot now making that impossible, including 10 stories of this, but there aren't a lot of structures that were here. One of the structures that was here is that building. You can pass that around. That little building appears in a number of photographs and is identified in a number of ways. This is from a page from J. Winston Coleman's scrapbooks at Transylvania University. And if you've never seen them, they are fascinating. The man kept scrapbooks from the time he was about 13 or 14 until he died in his 80s. On all sorts of things. He preserves all manner of history in them. And here's a picture of what he identifies, what is identified here as the home of Clay's body servant, Aaron Dupuy. Now that may be, it is identified in other ways. You can pass that around if you want. That building stood across Hanover Road. That road wasn't there. But there's a building on the corner here at Main Street. There's another apartment sort of building. It stood right there. This is a bigger picture of that building. This is from a postcard from about 1921. The postcard is actually written and postmarked that year. So that's a picture of it in color. This one is from a Cincinnati newspaper from the 1880s, which identifies it as the Farmer's Lot. I don't know which it is. I don't know what this building was. We don't have any period sources for this structure, but it stood there well into the 20th century. You can pass that around. In 1888, Henry Clay's great-grandson, Thomas Clay McDowell, married, and he married a woman by the name of Mary Mann Goodloe. They married at Ashland, I think, or married here in town, sorry, they married at St. John's Episcopal Church. They moved into a house on this spot. Their house was right here. That house was designed and built, or designed anyway, by Thomas's aunt. Her name was Magdalene Harvey McDowell. She lived up at Ashland. She never married, she never had children. She was a fascinating human being, a self-taught artist, architect, and inventor. There are about 4 or 5 houses still standing in Lexington that she designed. 2 on Maxwell, 1 on Pennsylvania Park, and I think there's 1 on Aylesford Place. She did several in the Aylesford development. This one was here. So that's what stood on this location. And Thomas lived here until the development of the property became so great that he needed to move his horse farm, and he bought Buck Pond outside town. He moved out to Buck Pond and started that as a horse operation. In 1902, this road, Hanover Road, was put in. Cal Jr. side, so that everyone had an Ashland view, and the Clays and McDowells had a view of their front door. They didn't want to see the back of anybody's house. So that's what they did. So they sold lots with the Ashland view. That was fine until it wasn't. Eventually, I guess they decided it was profitable enough that they needed to sell lots on the other side of the street, so that disappeared. There were 18 building lots. Thomas Hart Clay is another descendant of Henry Clay's. He, I believe, is a great-grandson. I don't know who Bishop Clay is. He is a relative, but not a descendant. But it talks about them here, most beautiful building lots ever before offered for sale in the suburbs of Lexington, fronting eastward as they do, with no interruption, ideal building sites. They offered 7 different plans, and invite inspection of the lots. So this is, again, April 27th of 1902. So they're offering this side of the street for sale. Thomas has his house. They built the ones on down the road. Around that time, a little before that, another thing happened in town. What would later become the Lexington Country Club, the first golf course in town, was operating on South Broadway. It was owned by a man named Colonel William T. Withers. Withers ultimately owned a farm across the road from what is today Applebee's Stadium. He was a board member at Transy and a board member of the Kentucky University Agricultural Mechanical College. Withers died. His wife inherited the property. She was a very religious woman, and when she got word from somebody that they were playing golf on Sunday, she said, "Nope, you're done. We're not having golf on Sunday." They didn't like that. They wanted to play golf when they wanted to play golf, and Major McDowell heard about it from somebody he knew who worked for him, who was a member of the club. So he said, "That's fine. Come to Ashland." So they set up links on this part of Ashland. So at one time, this was a golf course. People golfed over here for several years until they moved out to their current location. This is a flat, and you can see this in apartment 9B. See the large version. It shows Hanover Road and all the other streets that were laid out. They varied it some after they built it. Not all of it was built exactly as it was designed. This was all laid out by the Olmsteads. So Hanover Road is on this flat, which you'll have to take a while to see in the other downstairs. They laid it all out. And eventually, the house over here was also torn down. That apparently happened in the 1920s because there are articles about it where they tore it down. They also took down a very large 100-year-old holly that had been planted by Henry Clay. And so they were quite upset about it and wrote a newspaper article about why these things are being torn down and protesting that decision. So that appeared in the paper at that time. Apparently, they made gavels out of the holly tree. So if you ever see one, I'd love to have one forever. I've never seen a holly gavel. I have a gavel made from a tree at Ashland. My dad turns wood turning, and you can see that at our Living History event at the end of the month. On the 28th, we'll be open to the public. He'll be turning I'm told I'm getting a pizza cutter and a cake turner. So he does all sorts of neat stuff. But I have a gavel. Ashland's board uses a gavel. The board of the Henry Clay Center uses a gavel that he made from a tree that fell at Ashland. So that's still going on. This property was developed in the 1910s and 20s. This section by 1930 it was developed all the way up to the estate. Sycamore Road was laid down in 1926. They tore down the agricultural mechanical building, which became a barn. So that at that point development reached that far. So this would have been all houses by that time. This building was built in the late 60s. They tore down, I think Thomas's house was torn down after his daughter died. She lived in it for a long while, and I think it was torn down about 1967 or so to make way for this structure. So that's what was happening here on the property and what was going on with the Clay estate during that period. No. Hanover Road was named for the county where Henry Clay was born, in Virginia. The family chose that name for it. So Hanover was named for Hanover County, I think, the horse. I think so. That's a very prominent thoroughbred horse, prominent sire lines, breeding lines, won many races, raced in So anyway, the street was named for the county. All the streets, Ashland Park and in the Ashland neighborhood, were named by the families and all have family significance.
Thank you, Eric. Eric's going to do me a favor one day and figure out who has more portraits of him, Henry Clay or Jesus Christ. Now, before we get started, like I said, I'm going to divvy up into groups. Oh, and one more thing. I thanked everybody in the world, but I didn't thank the people that are opening up their homes to us. So let's definitely give them a big round of applause. And not put any of their silverware in your pocket. So the floors that we have available are the 9th, 8th, 7th, 4th, and 2nd. You'll go to those floors. Apartments that have their doors open, those are the ones that we're touring. So this group right here, if you want to make
Can you tell me my phone, Mike, before I forget it?
You guys could be my 8th floor people. And the stairs over there are actually pretty short if you want to go down that way rather than taking the elevator.
9th floor.
You can be my 7th floor people. Also, the 7th floor is the hospitality suite, so feel free to come up and down to that one and get some food and beverages while you're touring the other place.
Do you want us to hold on once you're done touring?
Yeah. I can do this. Thank you, Laura.
All right, you're welcome.
So you all can be the 4th floor if you want.
I'm going to go Stanford to 7 to get a drink and then go to 4. How's that?
Okay. You're on film. She's just...
Never seen her looking. One here, I don't play it.
You 4th floor.
So we didn't realize that we needed a fob to come up. Are we going to need a fob for the elevator going other directions?
Shouldn't be there, Bob. Oh, I didn't.
That's why I was getting stuck, because we didn't have a fob down here. And Josh left, but there's somebody there now.
Okay.
So we got spokes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. It's good to see you. Sure, I've missed the socials on the... Oh.
Hey.
Oh, okay. But so now are we...
I believe so.
Is this the way to go?
Do you want to go to the 7th floor? Okay.
Trying to keep it that way.
distinguished. Thanks, Dave. Thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Nice. Thank you.
Can subject himself to? Yeah. Okay. See you later.
See you later.
I would do that another time, Sheila. You'll do it. I wish it was about movies and not about Broadway, because I'm like,
Yeah.
Are you on tour?
Yes,
we are.
Okay.
We're going down to
We're going
Fort.
down.
Oh, okay, good. I'm going to fourth also.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is 7.
7 is where the cocktails are if you want to hop through. Or hop back up.
So, if I understand correctly, part of it is a structure from 1960s and part is still from the 20s.
Yes, that's what it sounded
I
like.
was older
Yeah.
than 60.
So it's a mix.
But this month marks its 60th
When
anniversary.
were your parents on house? When was it built?
In the 20s, I think it was 29. Yeah.
Are these owned by the people that live here, or are
Yes,
they're condominiums?
they're condominiums.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And the folks here are out of town, but they're nice enough to.
So nice of them.
So that's how I was rushing.
My house doesn't look like this, so I'm going out of town.
Me either.
This over what we have now.
This way cometh. Thank you, sir. You just stand in this corner and tell people it's right. I'm going to see what comes on. Hey.
You're rising and I'm falling, I guess.
Stay open. Is this the lady on the seventh floor?
Yes.
Having water.
I believe he's got water in there for you. Hey, bro.
Do I have one?
Oh, it's just want some ice water.
Oh, okay.
Hey, bro, do you have anything that could keep the door open?
What would that be? I mean, because it's got some pressure to it.
That I
It's kind of
for somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we want to do ours.
Did you want one as well?
Yes,
Hey, Sander.
I mean, it's a little big to put there, but it will hold it open, I
Yeah.
think. It's heavy enough.
Thank you.
Well, we will see if it's heavy enough.
Oh, yeah, that's
Does
perfect.
that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll cook those for
What?
couple of like coasters.
They're coasters.
One couple coasters.
Oh. Oh, you're smart. Would you try?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold my plate up.
Okay. Yeah. And then we just
Yeah, hang on. Here's a couple coasters, and you want to see if that'll.
I grabbed it already.
Okay. Thank you.
So you can think about it, and now I want to even play that one. I'm sorry.
Where's it at?
There's one in the kitchen, there's one here, there's one.
The one that's open.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jackson, I heard your voice, man. Look at you.
Hello. Good, how are you?
Very well.
Hey. It's such a lovely home.
There's the Kitchener's home, I'm just a friend of theirs, and, you just were down the hall.
Yep.
Saw the,
I just came up from the 7th floor, so I've not done that
so
yet.
you'll see how this is open, you'll get the comparison of what the galley kitchen is for the other one down on the 8th floor, so how different it is,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm with the Bluegrass Trust.
I kind
so-
of figured that you were, I kind of figured that you were.
Where's Jackson? Because his name was. We've lived here about 6 years, Jackson.
Well, it doesn't look like it.
My husband thinks I worked him to death to get it decluttered and cleaned a little bit.
Said, feels like 10. No, it looks great.
Yeah.
I'm going to mosey on down to the
Okay.
Thank you all. I'll be back. How are you?
This is fine.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Could I help you, sir?
Good to see you, Don.
So energetic.
Well, you were the right age to be in Chicago.
Right, it was 95 to 2000, so I was out there trying to.
I know, hearing that.
I'm so happy for that.
We got our dirty little fingers in everybody's pie.
I'm so glad for that. I mean, it needs, that building needed.
That section was
That-
the last section that needed it. Yes. Well, we got the whole, yeah, the whole catwalk.
Yes, I did.
It- I
Yeah.
it's
How about
way
you?
more than-
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we got one.
This is my favorite thing he's got.
A bar in the bottom.
His dad was a pilot for Pan Am.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, Chris would love it.
Antique
Well,
relic.
Tell him I said hi.
He tolerates my Victorian, but he, this is what he would
Oh,
like.
this is, yeah, this is.
Yeah, he would love that. I grew up across the street from an Eisenhower. I was
Yeah, over in the.
It's probably not too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, hi.
It's charming.
How are you?
Where that header drops down, you go 3 pairs of glass French doors.
Hey, hey.
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry.
Well, I would get the birthday one.
Excuse me, man. Sorry. I'm filming, so if you've got any outstanding warrants, hide.
No, but I would give those, I would make
Hugs for me?
One in each hand.
Well, I mean, I think volleyball is pretty easy to get to.
110. Well, yeah, that's probably.
There we go. I'm waiting on somebody to read that.
You're welcome.
Hello, welcome. Hey, hey.
Guys, this is Jerry Shrout, who designed this lovely space.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Great space.
They are. These are the original floors. I think those are probably the original cabinets we didn't.
And that's our September detour. Thank you all for joining us.